think for me, it's about removing all the shoulds, right? In this day and age, there is very few shoulds in marriage, really, apart from love one another. But really, again, you don't need a should there, right? When you get married to your spouse, right? When you're making your vows, you don't have to be like, I promise not to be with other women, right? Because you're in love with this person, you're passionate about this person, and so the onus there is, again, it's about opportunity and possibility and exciting. And it's like the Proverbs 31 woman. I don't really mind if my wife wants to run businesses, or if she wants to stay at home with the kids, or what she wants to do. I want her to do what she loves, she's passionate about. Because we all know, those of us that are in relationships, that when our spouse, when our partner is happy and comes alive and feels fulfilled, that makes for a great marriage connection. You know, that is amazing. Right. And that's what I want for me. I don't have any shoulds. I probably have a few shoulds, but I try to constantly go, oh, I have an expectation on my wife. I need to let go of that. That's unfair. And of course, this healthy dialogue, this healthy conversation. Hey, I would love it if you didn't leave your socks on the floor, or whatever. But again, you're an adult here. Right. I have no control over you. That's not what being. Even the passages we talk about being heads of households and things like that. Like, that's not what this is about. We're using this to abuse and hold people down more often than we're using it to lift people up, which is what it's all about, really. Right.
Well, and that's kind of the thing is it's not only valuable for my wife, but now is it not valuable for my daughters? Mm-hmm. Like, what information am I teach them? Should I go in and be like, all right, listen, you need to learn how to cook because you're going to have dinner ready for your husband. You need to learn how to clean because you need to be cleaning the house all day. Don't worry about a job, or you need to go to school so you can make a good job. Mm-hmm. So that you're, and for me, I kind of on this thought of helpmate. And does your boyfriend, husband, is he not worthy of help? Is he just working at, the fast food restaurant? Does he have no agenda? Like, how are we focusing on together? Are we helping each other? Are we helping each other, produce more? It's not your wife so that you can maintain the man's house and that's your help, because otherwise just get somebody to hire. Like, I mean, it doesn't even make sense to me, kind of this concept of, you're my helpmeet to the maintenance of the house. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people degrade their wives to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, we're all functional adults, I can pick up my laundry just as much as my wife can. Right. I can cook. I do all the cooking in my house. Right, me too. So, I like to cook more than my wife, so I'll cook, but it's sitting down and having a conversation and go, what do you like doing? What do you not? We both hate doing this. Well, should we alternate it? Right. But we both bring something to the table.
We get the kids to do it.
Yeah.
You hate doing dishes? I hate doing dishes. Hey, kids.
Dishwasher. Yeah. No, but I think this is how you have to have honest conversation, and especially about history. I think we romanticize history. We read our current situation, our current views into history. And when we actually look at history and we go, what's the context of this happening? Why is it happening? Why is there a system in place where men do this and women do that? Oh, it's because women can't ride horses. They'll have miscarriages. So, of course, all the men are riding horses or whatever it is, right? But guess what? Women can drive a car, no problem. Right? So, so things that we couldn't do before, men go and get something. Women stay in the place. Well, now women can go get something, right? So whatever, it's simple things, like little things we look at culturally, historically. When we take away the historical context, when we take away a cultural context, we make really, really poor decisions. Wow. That's something we can prove again and again in history, right? When we don't look at why we're making these decisions, and instead we just go, we've always done this, let's keep doing it. That's a bad place to make decisions from, in my opinion.
In my opinion, too. I mean, and it's interesting, because really I've never analyzed kind of past history is the focus of my present day marriage, I mean, and that's an interesting thought to bring in, where did this concept come from? Why was the concept, introduced? And, I thought it was interesting where you were talking about the men's having more time on their hands. And so they were able to think and create and do and challenge and try. And have we done that as husbands where we give the woman the mundane stuff to do and fill in her head just with repetitive cooking and cleaning and watching the kids and stuff like that, and we're not challenging her? You know, where could her mind go? Where could her, you know, thoughts take her? Where could her dreams take her? You know, and I said that about my wife. I don't want to be 60 years old and be like, oh man, I remember when we did this. Oh, this was so great. That was so great. And sitting on the rocking chair watching the sunset, and she'd be, I wish I would have done.
Yeah.
And you know, that'd be the most embarrassing thing as me as a husband.
Yeah.
To have all of these achievements and then her to feel empty.
Yeah. And I think that we don't have a culture for women speaking up about that particularly well. You know, there is a very much, well, this is your place, and this is how the way it's always been, and this is how it is. So I just came from Louisiana. I was in Louisiana before I came over here, and we had just some of the most phenomenal conversation. But when I got there, I noticed, oh, I'm only hanging out with guys. That's so weird for me as a European. Most of my friends, I would say about 70% of my friends are female, and that's really normal. And to me, I would lose so much of the variety and diversity in my life if I didn't have very close female friends. If my only female friend was my wife, are you kidding me? That would be so weird. But that is the case for a lot of people over there. They don't have many friends of the opposite sex. And there is a context of like, nope, that's what we've always done and that's the way it is. And you can't trust a partner to be with someone of the opposite sex and all these different things, right? Probably more prohibition causes like all sorts of issues. But it was fascinating to me talking to a lot of the girls, and they couldn't believe the conversations I was willing to have with them. And they couldn't believe that there was a guy willing to sit down and talk about stuff and ask them their opinion and ask them to have conversations. We had a big group of about 25 people doing Q&A, and they were asking me questions. And it was all guys asking questions. And I was like, guys, shut up. I was like, how many women are in here? There's like half the people in this room are women, and they're not asking questions. And you know what? They asked better questions.
They do.
They asked better questions, but they didn't feel safe. Like one of the girls comes up to me, she's like, thank you so much for letting me talk. And I was like, this isn't like, you know, someone that's like 70 years old that's been brought up in this, these are people like mid-20s. And she's saying, thank you for letting me talk.
Wow.
And I'm like astonished. Now, there was so many different things that I can look at, especially being European and coming into probably the most conservative areas of America as well. So I know it'd be different in New York City or San Francisco or something. But you know, so of course there was a lot of odd divides, and there was things with race, and there was things with all sorts of stuff that I looked at and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. But just on that level of how are these wives free to be. Now, their husbands were amazing and treating their wives amazingly. They really were. And this isn't to dig on them, because actually these were really great connections. But it shows that there's still this undercurrent. You know, that we talk about implicit and explicit issues. So for something like racism or sexism, there's explicit racism and sexism, right? So explicit racism is I say inappropriate words or phrases. I treat someone very badly, and I know that I'm doing that. There's no question that I know it. Now, there's implicit issues where maybe I have no idea how this benefits me more than the other person, right? So how many husbands have no idea they're part of an implicit system that puts them on a pedestal and puts women down, and they don't know, right? They're on the rocking horse at 65 going, life was amazing, and their wife's sitting there going, that was awful. I hope reincarnation's right, so I get another go as a guy, right? Or something, you know, because that was rough.
Right.
And so that's kind of an implicit systemic issue. So it's a system that says, woman, know your place. Woman, you speak, you know, at home, but not in public. Or, you know, woman, you know, you stay at home with the kids. The husband gets to have all the fun, and and you and I know as well, it's not all fun. I'm not saying men are having the best time ever, because the truth is there's dynamics here, right? If we look through history again, a lot of the men were dying doing these manual labor jobs, right? So and that's a very real dynamic as well. I'm not trying to say, you know, I'm not beating up on anyone. What I'm saying is most of our issues in these concepts are not explicit; they're implicit. They're underlying systemic things. But the onus is on us that once we see it, it becomes explicit. So you're not racist if you're part of a system that can be racist. But as soon as you see the system and how it benefits you and how it hurts someone of a different color, now you're a racist if you keep doing it.
Right.
And same thing with this, with the same thing with these kind of sexist, patriarchal, misogynistic kind of concepts. If I have a system and I don't know any better and my wife suffers for it, that I'm not being a sexist. Or I shouldn't be judged for being I shouldn't feel guilty or shame. And so anyone listening to this is going, oh, I feel attacked right now. I'm not trying to make you feel shameful or guilty. But what I'm hoping is that they might listen and go, am I part of a system that is a bit imbalanced here? Am I benefiting in ways that I would like my wife to benefit from? And once you've thought that and come to the conclusion, yes, to not change, that is sexism. That is misogynistic. That is an issue.